Now, welcome back to another Visions review. This time we'll be taking a look at the sixth episode, the one called TO-B1.
Toby.
Well, that is his nickname, but the episode is called TO-B1.
Toby.
Either way, I will kick this off by saying that this was not my favorite episode of the bunch.
I was never an Astro Boy fan. And this is very, very, very clearly modeled after Astro Boy. I respect that they modeled it after the old, an older origin anime. But yeah, it wasn't my favorite either.
It wasn't terrible. I mean, I actually liked some of the colors and some of the imagery is really nice in this episode.
I liked the idea that the retired Jedi is bringing life to a planet somewhere.
Trying to, yeah. And then his son carries it on and does it for him.
I mean, after his son gets him killed?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
He does, doesn't he? He would adjust.
I like that the Sith took that seriously. Some kid on a planet.
I'm
a Jedi! Calling all the Jedi! Go get that kid. Trouble.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was like, well, he's... And then when he duels him later, you would think he would, I don't know, not take that so seriously, and yet he did.
Well, he apparently needed to.
Apparently he did because he lost. So what am I saying?
Oh, he lost to a robot boy.
Yeah. Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
An Inquisitor, I'm going to assume, of some type.
I think it's a pretty safe assumption.
But yeah, it was another story about family, another story about kyber crystals.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a trend going on there. You can kind of see what, the Japanese think of Star Wars, because it's, very Jedi Sith-centric, and they always bring in the kyber crystals.
Yeah, good versus evil, the importance of family, the importance of life and nature.
Yeah, I mean, all very important things to Star Wars, don't get me wrong, but you can see where they're, they what they really pick up out of it, these studios anyway.
Yeah, and it's nice to see a different representation of what Star Wars is.
Yeah.
At least what it is to other people as well.
Yeah, it's always interesting. That's one of the things I love to do is, to read people's comments about, how they, because, I just get my perspective and then I get to see what everybody else says. So it's one of the things I love about doing this is you get to see so many different takes and so many different opinions on Star Wars. And now we're getting to see a whole different kind of culture's take on Star Wars. So I think that's really cool, even if this particular episode was not my favorite, as I said. Still kind of cool to see what they did with it. Yeah,
I wouldn't discredit that by any means. It was such a simplistic style, the way the studio used. It's just not my style.
I still thought it looked cool. I thought the colors, for whatever reason, it just kind of popped.
Yeah.
I mean, it might not be the best look. I'm not saying it's the best looking, but just something about the color palette or the way they went about it just really popped, and it looked cool.
It definitely looked cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the, and it's also a very I feel like it's a very Japanese theme to ponder the question of, does a robot and artificial intelligence, can it have a soul?
Yeah.
And that was again the impression. I mean, they do things like Ghost in the Shell, and I mean, you could probably name them all day. I mean, Battle Angel, Aelita, Astro Boy. Can an artificial being possess a soul?
Yeah, or in this case, can they use the Force, which is along the same lines.
I mean, think about it. In another respect, the professor who looked a lot like Eggman. So, Eggman was trying to create life on a planet. Was he also trying to create life inside of a robotic shell?
Yeah.
So, I mean, interesting parallels, interesting things to think about. I mean, that episode may not have been my favorite, but that does not mean I did not find it interesting.
I don't think it was uninteresting. It's just not, it's not up to the standards of some of the other ones in terms of just enjoyment factor, I guess.
Right, and the color palette was interesting because it was simple. They stuck with pretty much primary colors.
Yeah.
You saw the blues, the green, the red.
It was like blue, green, red, and then different shades of white and and gray and black kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, so a very simplistic palette, but it was good. I liked all his little robot buddies. Yeah. I thought they were adorable. He's got his own little robot gang. I wasn't blown away by the music.
No, it was kind of not Star Wars-y at all. Mm-hmm. It was very different, kind of.
And the sound effects. Everyone walking had their own squeaky squeak sound as they walked. Bleep, 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 bleep. He's walking around.
How did that go?
Don't. I mean, you had to have noticed that every step he took made a little noise.
I actually didn't
You
notice
didn't
that.
notice
No.
that the robot's footsteps had a little noise unique to them?
Completely oblivious to that. I was too busy listening to his kind of upbeat, always positive voice, and I'm going to go out there. I'm going to find the Jedi.
I do like that the robot Toby decided at the end that his purpose, his job, his way of fulfilling his goals of being a Jedi was to go and save other barren planets. I mean, it's the perfect job for somebody who doesn't require those types of things to survive themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, he can easily go to another planet and start from scratch and start, fixing the environment, fixing the atmosphere, starting plant life, because he doesn't require those things to survive, so it's an easy task for him to fulfill. I wouldn't say easy, because obviously a lot of math and stuff, but he's done it once, so why not? Why not?
Sure, he's carrying on his master/father's will.
He's spreading life, the Force.
Droid, who is questionably alive or not because he can use the Force, is spreading life. It's an interesting...
It's the Robo-Force.
It's something.
Exactly. I thought it was interesting that... I mean, another thing you wonder with how come he could use the Force or how is he a Jedi, the Kyber crystal was inside of him.
Yeah, so maybe he is somehow... powered by the Kyber crystal-ish?
Possibly, or maybe that's the essence of what gave him his soul or abilities. If it was a part of him, literally a part of him. Interesting concept, nonetheless.
Sure, I mean, like I said, it's not that it was completely uninteresting, it was very childish. I mean, that's...
It's hard to think of it as a great episode when I'm following up on watching the Ninth Jedi before
I think that was part of my problem, especially like the first time through when I watched them.
Maybe they needed to wind them up.
Yeah.
Start with the ones that were a little more simple, maybe a little less full-blown, awesome animations. Kind of build up to the really good ones.
Maybe, because that was part of my problem with this episode, especially the first time when I watched them back to back to back. I watched The Village Bride and then The Ninth Jedi, arguably the two best ones. And then I watched this one, arguably the not best one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching them one at a time, as that. Everyone knows that who's been watching these.
Yeah.
After watching The Ninth Jedi and The Village Bride, it is hard to sit here and go and talk about all the good stuff there was in this episode because my brain's comparing it to those, which I really loved those.
Yeah, it's not a fair... I mean, I know it's the same series, but it's not a fair comparison. They were different intentions, obviously.
Oh, very different. Two entirely different shows.
Like I said, this one I felt was more geared toward... Of all of the episodes, I think this one was the most geared towards children.
Maybe, but I mean, it still has... like my dad always joked about with Looney Tunes as we were kids, there's something in those base animations that's clearly for children. But when you watch it as an adult, there is plenty to get out of it and enjoy as well.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not going to say I didn't like that this was my favorite, but I'm not going to say I didn't like this one. I've found something unique and interesting all of the ones that have come out of the Star Wars Visions.
Well, I think that's going to be it for this one. I don't know that there's much else to talk about here, is there?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, again, not my favorite. Not bad. It is what it is. Some interesting themes, some interesting things going on in there, but, it's hard to compare to some of the really good episodes, I think. That's the problem.
Yeah, I can echo those sentiments. Like you said, part of it was the placement.
Yeah, well, they had to do something with it, so, it's got to go somewhere. And considering most of the episodes
that person in front of you does that really, really great presentation at school, and you're like, I'm following that?
Yeah. Unfortunately, most of the episodes are good or really good, so it's, anywhere it gets put in there, it's going to follow something that's probably of a different style that's a little bit better than it, so. But anyway, that's all we got for you this time. Take to the comments below. Tell us what you thought of TO-B1.
May the Force be with you.
And until next time, thanks for watching.